Almost every Desi who comes to my therapy practice wants help with communication. And every single one of them is focusing on the wrong thing at first. Think about it. If you decide you want to eat healthier, what's the first thing you need to do? You need to look at your plate, find the unhealthy things you're eating, those fried pakoras perhaps, and then you need to say, okay, I want to replace those with something healthier. You can't just start adding all the healthy things without getting rid of the unhealthy things. Now, here's the thing that people don't think about. In order to communicate better, you actually have to work on being a better listener. And when I work with Desis, it becomes really obvious very quickly that there are ways in which we communicate that actually block connection. In this episode, I'm going to share the 3 communication blockers I see the most often in my therapy practice with Desis. And if you stick around till the end, I'm going to give you one initial replacement to put on your plate so that even when you get rid of those fried pakoras, you feel content with those air-fried mushrooms. And what makes me suited to do this? I'm Dr. Hina Maglani Terranova. As a psychologist, my dal roti is helping Desis navigate personal and familial challenges. And as a Desi American, I experience the challenges of living within multiple cultures. Desi Traumas is where I bring therapy tools adapted for the brown community and share how they have worked for my Desi patients. Sometimes I even share personal stories like I will today. Now, the first blocker, it's one that is very subtle. Think about when you call someone to vent and they tell you, hey, it's all going to be okay. Don't worry, beta. Culturally, I get it. We are taught to take care of our community. If someone's upset, it is our obligation to make them feel better. And oftentimes, we try to give them reassurance. We try to console them that everything will be okay. And this just happened to me last week. My daughter, my 6-month-old daughter, had to be taken to the emergency room because she was not feeling well. And it was so scary for me. So after coming out of the ED, I called my mom. I started telling her what happened. And before I could even finish, she said, don't worry, Hina, she's going to be okay. In that moment, not only did I not feel heard, I felt like I didn't have the space to share how I was feeling because it was more important for me to contain my emotion. That was the message that I received. And it's common in Desi culture. The parent's job is to make sure that their children are okay. So my mom was doing what she thought would make me feel better in the moment. She gave me reassurance. I didn't ask for reassurance. And consoling others, telling them that things are going to be okay, things are going to work out in the end, that's pervasive within the Desi community. Sab teek ho jayega, meaning everything's going to be okay. Or chinta nahi karo, don't worry. Some of these Desi lines can actually create the drama, the tension. The thing is, reassurance seems like it would lessen the other person's pain, but it doesn't always have the effect. In fact, it can even be experienced like you don't get it or you're trying to dampen their emotional experience. Maybe that emotional experience needs to breathe. Maybe it needs room to exist. Feelings need to be felt. Shocker. So reassurance is the number one blocker I see in the Desi community. And just as I note, because I'm sure my mom's going to listen to this, I know that you're trying to be helpful, mom. And remember that episode on what your child needs and asking them what they need? Next time, hopefully, there isn't a next time like this, but anytime something emotional is happening, something difficult is happening, can you just ask me what I need in that moment? And that way I can tell you. I know that it might be hard because you have to tolerate me being upset, and it's going to make me feel so much better when I have the space to feel. Okay. Number 2, problem solving. And this is what I hear the most in couples that I work with, where one person wants to feel heard and the other person can't tolerate an issue. And so what they want to do is they want to move on to problem solve prematurely. What that does is that it makes the person who's speaking, who's sharing, feel like they're not being listened to. Like the listener has a different agenda and that their agenda is more important than the speaker's. So one partner will jump in. The husband will say, just tell me what you want to do and I'll do it. Like we can move past this. And the message is, hey, you're not allowed to stew in whatever you're stewing. And I don't really care to listen. Why do Desi husbands do this or Desi partners in general? It's not malicious. It's because it pains them to see their partners unhappy. Think about it. When you grow up and the message is you have to take care of your partner, their well-being is your responsibility. You are the provider. If that's what you grew up hearing and you see your wife is unhappy, you start to feel guilt, shame, and that feels unbearable. It feels painful even. Just tell me what you need me to do. I'll fix it. However, the message that it gives off is let's move past it. Let's move on. And it can really land as, hey, you need to get over this emotion. But just like you can't really rush digestion, emotions need to pass in their own time. In fact, most of the times, emotions just need to exist. They need room to breathe. So far, we've talked about reassurance and problem solving. And this third one, it's the one that I think is very subtle, but also stings a lot for Desis. Namaste, y'all. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, will you do so? It's going to help me know that this content matters and to keep creating this content for you. And it'll help other people learn about the show as well. Thank you so much. And let's get back into it. It's the one that comes up often between Desi parents and their grown children. It's derailing. I had a patient recently who called her mom after a really stressful day at work. She wanted to vent and share about the stressors. And her mom just happened to have this auntie over the house. So in almost the same breath that the mom says hello, she's like, hey, talk to Sheila auntie. She's here. She wants to say hi to you. So the mom hands the phone to the auntie. My patient, the daughter, was calling with a different purpose. She was trying to reach her mom. She wanted space to share what's going on. She didn't really want to talk to the auntie. Not because she has anything against the auntie, just in that moment, she was already so overwhelmed. So obviously she couldn't talk to her mom then because Sheila auntie's over. So in a later call, she says, hey mom, when I called you earlier, I was trying to explain to you how my day was. And I felt frustrated because you gave the phone to Sheila auntie. And her mom immediately interrupted. She's like, oh, wait. What happened with that friend who was looking for a place by you? That's derailing. The message that my patient got was, I don't want to listen to you complaining about me. So her mom starts steering the conversation in another direction. My patient didn't feel heard in that initial conversation, and then again didn't feel heard. So derailing blocked the communication, the connection. What my patient was trying to get out of the conversation, now she couldn't get that twice. That made her even more frustrated, even angry at this point. She felt like her mom understood her even less. And not only did it derail the conversation, but it also sidelined the opportunity to build connection. Derailing is that third blocker. And this happens not because your mom doesn't want to understand you. It happens because your Desi mom doesn't know how to handle negative feedback from her child. So she derails, she pivots, she deflects, she talks about something else, perhaps to show that she does care about you. And the thing is, your Desi mom might not be the only one who does this. We all engage in all three of these blockers all the time. And once we start to notice the unhealthy foods on our plate, then we can replace them with something that's healthier. So I'm going to share one of those things now. Think about it as this air-fried stuffed mushroom. Before you share any complaint, any criticism, any thought that you're having, preface it with, the story I'm telling myself is. Instead of, you didn't listen to me, you might say, the story I'm telling myself is, you didn't listen to me. Notice how those sound different. The first is an attack. The second is your experience. It's what's happening for you. It's a very subtle shift, but it can land very differently on the listener. So what are the takeaways? You can't add in healthy communication tools and try to be a better speaker without first becoming a better listener. So the next time someone brings you something hard, ask yourself, am I reassuring? Am I problem solving? Am I derailing the conversation? Notice it in the moment. And if you are, ask them, hey, what do you need? Sounds like this is really hard. What do you need right now from me? That's how you start to replace those unhealthy blockers with more healthy ways of communicating. The story I'm telling myself is one way that you can start to communicate authentically. And it's part of a larger framework that I use with Desis in my practice. And again, I hear Desis tell me that that is the most influential tool that they learned in their work with me. And I'm so excited to share it with you. That full communication framework is coming next Tuesday. So subscribe to this channel so you are notified when that video comes out, and share this with the person who calls you when they're having a hard day so that they know that you're trying to work on becoming a better listener. Maybe they can hold you accountable to these changes. Last week, I talked about how being on the Titanic is like being in a relationship. And if you want to avoid hitting an iceberg, there are 3 things that you can do. If you're interested in going deeper, in navigating conflict differently, check out that video and start to notice the icebergs in your relationship. Maybe some of those icebergs are actually these communication blockers that I talked about today. And if you want more communication tools, more relational tools, head to desi-dramas.com. I want to make these things accessible for the broader community, and I want to hear your story. So share your story. I might unpack it anonymously in a future episode. This isn't therapy, but I trust it has been therapeutic. Until next Tuesday, see what you want to take off of your plate for healthier communication. And next week, you're going to learn how to communicate like you're building a plate of jad. Yep. See you next Tuesday.